At 4'1½", we have Emily Ogus. Emily's been writing since she was in the womb. She was scrolling on the sides of the womb. Emily is a brilliant poet. She has some very, very interesting perspective. I've been writing with her for a long time. We're going to open tonight's performance with a piece that Emily wrote called "What If." Take it away, Emily.
What if I liked you like more than a friend? Would you promise to be mine and stay to the very end? What if I held your hand as you walked down the street? Would you be embarrassed or have me and your friends made? What if once a friendship turned into more? Would I be the only girl that you would adore? What if I kissed you not only on the cheek? Would you kiss me back or walk away and not speak? What if I told you I loved you? Would you care? Or would you just look at me with a blank stare? What if one day we got engaged? Would our love go with age? What if we got married? Would it be the wedding of my dreams or afterwards I was carried? What if one day we decided to have children? Would you sign the birth certificate probably with a pen? What if we grew old together? Would we have a connection inside that will last forever?
That was pure, raw, rhyming emotion, expression. What we have next for you is a little bit of deviation from that. We encourage kids to speak their minds. It's a great program for getting kids out of that closed shell that so many of us are in all the time. We have Chetta, who's been also running, but he dabbles more in the political, social angle of it all. A very, very good writer. Or he's going to present his poem, "What Teachers Make." What teachers make.
Good evening, everybody. Where are my teachers at? Where are my students at? All right. That's what I like this. He says the problem with teachers is, what's a kid going to learn from someone who decided his best option in life is to become a teacher? He reminds you of the beginning, guys. It's true what they say about teachers. Those who can do and those who can't teach. I decided to bite my tongue instead of his and remind the other dinner guests it's true what they also say about lawyers. And after all, this is supposed to be polite dinner conversation. He says, be honest. You're a teacher, right? Tell us what you make. Now, I wish you hadn't done that. Actually, to be honest, because you see, I have a policy about honesty and suspensions. If you ask for it, I have to let you have it. You want to know what I make? I make students work harder than they ever thought they could. I can make a C+ feel like a Congressional Medal of Honor, and an A- feel like a slap in the face. How dare you waste my time with anything less than the very best? I can make students sit through 40 minutes of study hall in absolute silence. No, you may not raise your hand. No, you may not ask a question, so you put your hand back down. Why won't I let you go to the bathroom? Because you're bored, and you don't really have to go. Now, do you? I make parents tremble in fear when I call home at around dinner time. Oh, hi. I would like to talk to you about something that your son said today. He said the most interesting thing at school. He said, leave the kid alone. I still cry sometimes. Don't you? And it was the noblest act of courage I had ever seen. I make parents see their kids for who they are and what they can be. You want to know what I make? I make kids question. I make them wonder. I make them criticize. I make them apologize and mean it. I make them write. And then I make them read. I make them show all their work in math class and hide it on their final drafts in English. I make them spell definitely beautiful, definitely beautiful, definitely beautiful, definitely beautiful over and over again until you never misspell any of those words ever again. And I make them understand, if you have this, if you follow this, and if anybody tries to judge on what you make, give them this. Let me break it down for you. Let me break it down for you so you know what I say is true. Teachers make a difference. What about you? Thank you.
He's come a very, very long way in his work, and it's great to see not only their poetry, but their ideas evolve on the pen. What we try to do is to get them to tackle bigger issues than just themselves, greater ideas. It kind of opens them up to a broader world, and that is the point of education. That would be the point of teachers, I guess. But what we also try to do is kind of understand yourself through all this poetry, understand the worlds around you, kind of tackle comical themes, maybe tackle issues that kids struggle with every day that they grow up with, just things that are always relatable. And a poem that a lot of kids write is this conformity poem. You kind of probably have the ideas because you live in this world, so you probably understand some of the themes that from the next poem you're going to hear. But these are very, very common themes that students like to tangle with in the program. This is a poem I wrote. I went down to Chicago. If you go down to Kenosha and you catch the train, it's $14 round trip. It's awesome. And I was down there with two friends of mine, and I thought, oh wow, we're going to go explore Chicago. We're going to get in trouble, and we'll be brought home in handcuffs. It will be awesome. But I did not calculate that the two friends of mine were both girls, and their idea in Chicago was this bustling metropolitan of shopping expletives. And well, that was my trip down to Chicago. So as I was standing in line behind this mass of girls swarming around clothing, I came up with this concept. It was a poem I wrote called "Why Are We All Wearing Black?" At the next mile from you to eternity, all to myself. First, my female counterpart stays forever 21. I'm an age at least 5 years. Paranoia sets in as she leads me through rows of applicable beauty. Slip-on skins masking an insecurity's whim. This is a gallery in which vanity hangs from every wall. A play in which every actor recites their monologue into the mirror, for they are too scared to perform for the audience of circling vultures who are just waiting for one crumpled collar, any off colors, or a blatant fashion anachronism. I panic, drop her shopping bags, and run to the exit, like an oxygen-deprived swimmer heading for the surface. I exiting onto a sidewalk full of bustling commuters. Sure, the air is fresher out here, and I'm not strung up on a retail noose, but I see that the mannequins have taken to the streets, replacing yesterday's fad of being human. Why are we all wearing black? A sea of button-up peacoats keeping out more than the cold. Does your personality have a brand name? Your North Face can't smile, but who needs to smile when we can Botox? What died? Maybe it's not what died, but who died. Maybe we're not lamenting the death of Mr. or Mrs. Smith. Maybe their tombstone was not placed 6 feet over our tendency to romanticize the nuance of our individuality. No longer viewing self through the constellations found abundant in the canopies. The circle of my thumb and forefinger form a galaxy in which the cookie-cutter conformity is only discussed with satire. I found my childhood in mixtapes, melodies sung by dying stars. Most of us evolved from apes, but I came from the monkey bars. And that's still where my sentiments swing. So don't be afraid to be the white stain past Labor Day. If you're the ugly duckling, you should be happy just to stay that way. The moment you turn into the swan, the part of you that made you an individual is gone. But all aboard in handkerchiefs. We're just dirty pigeons fighting over water fountain sips. And I'm afraid that's the way it's going to stay. But if we can look past the mirror and into our soul, we might just find the beauty of knowing ourselves. And never need a reason to be anyone else. Thank you. We're going to intersperse these kind of poetry blurts throughout the next hour, the next 2 hours. We actually have a full plethora of poets kind of tromping through the dining room. I hope it is to your enjoyment. I hope all the food you're eating is to your enjoyment. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy.